I grew up here. I was born here in Oakland, in the East Bay, San Francisco East Bay, and grew up grew up there and went to a high school and was studying U.S. government as a junior in high school in the 11th grade. And our teacher had given as an assignment to each student a little paperback book to read about someone or someplace in U.S. government. And my friend, Maya, who's third generation Japanese American like I am, got up in front of the class, and her book was called Concentration Camps USA. And she starts talking about the Japanese American internment. That's the term we used back in those days. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I never had heard about that myself. I was 16 years old. And then she went on to say, but there was this one man that resisted the military orders and disobeyed them, and it ended up to be a landmark a Supreme Court case called Korematsu versus the United States. Oh, that's my name. And I have 35 pairs of eyes turning around looking at me, and I'm shrugging my shoulders because I'm thinking that's some black sheep of the family because she never said Fred, which was my father's first name. And so after, it was the last class of the day, and I ran out after her and I said, well, what's this about? And she says, well, this is about your dad. And I said, no way, somebody would have told me. And so, of course, you know, I go running home and ask my mother, and I get the standard answer, well, wait till your father gets home and you can ask him. And he not only had faced, you know, housing discrimination, but employment discrimination. And he worked long hours, and by the time he got home, it was 8 o'clock at night. And I asked him, you know, what this was all about. And he said, it happened a long time ago, and what he did, he thought was right, and the government was wrong. It was that clear and simple. And I could see this hurt going over his face, and I was really close to my daddy, so I couldn't ask him any more questions. Except I did ask him if he could vote, because voting was very important to my parents. And they studied the ballot and even helped at the ballot polls. But we didn't speak about it again until his case was reopened until 1983. There was a code of silence among the Japanese Americans that had been incarcerated because they felt so hurt and with this shame hanging on them, on their shoulders, that they just didn't want to speak about it. They just wanted to prove they were good American citizens, get on with their lives, and rebuild their lives. And this is what I want, you know, people to know, what I want students to know, that they need to be aware of their own families' situations, but that one man made a difference, and so can they.